I'm Bridget Gillespie. This is my audience. I'm going to be talking about animal rights and the ethical correctness behind it. Mostly everyone here has probably heard of the organization PETA. It stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. It's the largest animal rights organization in the world to date. It has more than 3 million members. They serve through public education. They work with cruelty investigations. They also work with legislation. They work with celebrities. And they're mostly known for their protest campaigns, which kind of get a little bit crazy sometimes, which most people probably know. But their main areas of concern are factory farms, which also it's for the treatment of animals in them, which it comes to animals for food as well as for fur, the entertainment industry, and laboratory testing. So the first thing people usually think about when they think of animal rights and people for it is people who don't eat meat, which there's two definitions behind that. It's vegetarianism and veganism. Vegetarians are people who don't eat any meat, poultry, or fish at all, so it's no meat of an animal. Whereas vegans don't consume any type of animal products at all, which is eggs, dairy, and it also is wool, leather, silk, or any type of fur at all. And there's a lot of reasons people do this. There's a lot of health benefits behind it. It's been proven to prevent things like heart disease and cancer. There's a lot of environmental concerns. There's beliefs for nonviolence, and then there's just overall compassion for animals, which the people who are doing it for the compassion of animals, usually it comes down to the treatment of animals in these factory farms, which again is for the eggs, milk, and meat overall, all three of those. Factory farms are large industrial operations that raise animals specifically for food. 99% of the animals in the U.S. are raised in these farms, which is an extremely large amount. The treatment of animals here is really bad. They're packed into these really tight spaces, these really small cages. They have no outdoor access, no sunlight. It causes severe physical and mental pain, and the maintenance of these factory farms is really bad. They're usually never cleaned, which is also bad for us or any consumers that are eating this because it causes diseases like E. coli and salmonella. And to try to prevent those kind of diseases, the factory farm owners are feeding the animals antibiotics, which is passed then into the food, whether it be the meat again or the eggs or milk, which is potentially dangerous to us because then there's now drug-resistant bacteria in our bodies, which means that the antibiotics that they're feeding these animals are no longer going to work for the consumer of these products, which is really scary if you think about it. The ethics behind a non-meat diet or just non-animal product diet is mostly for non-violence or non-murder practice. There's a lot of religions that practice this, including Buddhism, Islamic, Jews, and mostly Hinduism, which believes that murdering animals for our own good or for our consumption is bad karma, and that we'll actually end up being murdered in our lifetime as well. So it's pretty interesting. There's also different types of factory farms that farm just for furs, which there's 30 million animals raised in these cages and killed for their furs every year. Some of these animals include minks, foxes, chinchillas, rabbits, dogs, and they suffer psychologically. They kind of go insane for being in these, it's 12 by 18 inches usually is what they're confined to their entire lives, just a little cage, 12 by 18 inches, which if you think about it, that's crazy. Usually in the wild, they're up to 2,500 acres of land that they can travel. So when you're condensing it down to a 12 by 18 cage, that shows that there's really not any type of movement or any type of, I guess, just environment that they're now given. To get the certain fur colors, sometimes these animals are inbred genetically, so that also causes certain types of psychological problems, which makes these animals basically go insane. The killing methods they use are they break their necks, or they do lethal injection or electrocution. There's no really proper way, I guess, to kill an animal, so they're usually pretty violent. And then the last type of cruelty I'll be talking about is animals for entertainment. So circuses treat animals, usually they're meant to be, a fun or entertaining type of activity, but in reality, these animals are chained up for travel 20 hours a day, or in 50 weeks a year, so that's a majority of their lifetime. The standard procedure to train these animals for the circus is electric shock, whipped, chemical burning, and if they don't apply to any of these or they don't become trainable, they're just killed off. They're not really let go or put back into their environment, they're just killed. And then also in zoos, most animals end up being bullied by their cage mates because they're kind of just animals taken from everywhere, not from the same place. So it's just different types of animals taken from different environments, thrown together in a cage for their entire lives. So if they don't get along, they end up kind of just killing each other off if they don't get along. And also, if the number of animals exceeds, if they have too many of a certain animal, they'll kill them off. They won't let them go. They just kill what they don't need. And the ethics behind this is it teaches children that we are superior to animals and that they don't deserve the respect or the type of lifestyle that we live as human beings, which, if you think about it, we all are the same living being. We all, live the same life. We live in the same environment. We have the same feelings. So, I mean, in reality, we really do deserve to give these animals the rights that we have as people. So, in conclusion, animals deserve to be treated as people because, again, they feel the same things we feel. They breathe the same air we do. They live similar lifestyles as we do. So we deserve to treat them the way that we are treated, give them the same respect that we give each other as people. So is there any questions?